the Christian narrative really gaining strength in the truther community, more so building a house. Like, not even considering how to get the materials to that, where like none of it. You just like, I'm just this bullshit. What's up, Augo? This bullshit with feed being censored like this is just insane. I mean, like I say, I'm watching this girl on my feed, a Facebook girl. Her name's Bella something something something. A Facebook girl. Her name's Bella something something something. Which she makes great videos talking about Israel. Peters makes great videos talking about Israel. Ian Carroll, great video talking about Israel. All these guys make great videos talking about Israel, and then at the same time, they're all such really, really like staunch Christians talking about, really like staunch Christians talking about, you know, they hate Jesus and and they're trying to start a war between Christians and Muslims and it's like, okay, so you know that, right? You know that the plan is to make a war between the plan is to make a war between us and Christians, right, versus the rest of us. But if you know that reality so impressively and so like convincingly, and this is being bought by this guy and this is going here and they're privatizing the military, which did you realize that? Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah, they are buying the military. Rich, powerful Jews are buying the U.S. military. But you keep hearing, and they talk about all these things, and it's reality. It's like it's the thing that was a conspiracy forever, but now it's an undeniable reality. And then they cap it all off by, topping the sundae with some fantasy whipped cream. They throw in the Jesus stuff, and you just, what? Why? Why do you guys not see this? Why do you guys not see that? I mean, so is there a Christian out there that doesn't understand that Jesus was a Jew? Like that? That's without a doubt. And then the the whole argument that the Bible is a Jewish fairy tale. It's all the characters, the main characters, are Jewish, and it's about their heritage and their stories, and I mean, I really don't.
If I were a rich man.
I don't understand. It's full of their tradition. I mean, it's just I'm so desperate to try to have this conversation that I'm actually going with a night feed, hoping that maybe there'll be a different set of trolls that come through or something. Somebody that can try to engage in this conversation, but they just can't. There's a dumbass that comes through here all the time. Today he was here.
Scared too.
And this guy was here today talking about, I come here to save your soul and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, cool, let's talk about it. And as soon as you start getting into it, then you're just so full of hate, and it just starts turning into the attack part. And it's like, I get it. Like, why don't you just say, I can't answer what you're saying. Why do you have to go the roundabout way by doing the childish bullshit? I mean, it's so interesting how Christians become so nasty and typical and not very Christian, like aggressive and you know. But again, like I never see any of these guys put out videos. Even Coop, I can't stand it, man. I think Coop puts out these great videos, but because he's such a Christian, he's such a white male Christian. Like the other day, he's putting out a video about, I forget what the thing was, but he was talking about I didn't even get through the video because he's talking about Native Americans and how they were these savages and how, you know, the good father was just trying to bring the word of God to them, and instead they tortured him and they ripped out his still beating heart in front of him and ate it in front of him. And it's like, dude, how stupid can you be? Again, at what point do you start questioning the fact that the people that are providing you with the narrative that you're basically calling a lie in every sense of the word in modern times are also giving you the historical narrative? So why do you believe the historical narrative when you don't believe the one that's literally happening right now? You think they're telling us the truth? Do you think it's possible to actually rip somebody's still beating heart out of their body? How much fantasy, how much anime do you watch that you think that's physically possible? Somebody is going to die before you can actually get through to their heart. You're breaking their sternum and all that other shit that you would have to get through to actually get a hold of the heart to begin with. They would be dead. And definitely, if they're still alive, then they're barely alive and they're passed out. But I'm really worried about how they're going to manipulate things with everybody still believing in Jesus so much. And I just how they don't see that, like, you know, that your belief in Jesus creates more division. The fact that they have us separating into two large groups. One is a Christians, one is Muslims, and they're basically the same stories, but instead we just hate each other. Well, they just hate each other. Like, don't you see that? Can you imagine how much harder we'd be to control and keep down if there wasn't the Christian Muslim conflict? If we were all just one group of Goyim trying to live a better life? If they couldn't just, anytime they need a boogeyman story, blame the Muslims and everybody be like, oh yeah, it's got to be the truth. It's the Muslims doing it. I mean, understand that. Do the Muslim countries claim that every once in a while random Americans just come and do crazy? Strange. Matt, what's up? I was wondering if you'd show up. Scary time, man. Scary times, especially because so many people going down that biblical Jesus road that, you know, by controlling the environment that we live in, chemtrails, HARP, shit like that, they're going to be able to manipulate people, you know, creating biblical-esque narratives that we see and we or we think we see and we think we feel and hear and all that shit. Like, it's really scary. I don't know. I mean, think about, like, if you think about where the world was in 2018, 2019, how we were protesting everywhere. Me Too was strong. Epstein stuff was everywhere. You know, they'd failed at their measles vaccination program, and I mean, literally, the protests were everywhere. South America, Hong Kong, Australia, Europe had. You guys remember the yellow vest movement? That was it was huge, all over France, all over everything. So bad, in fact, that they had to do their Operation COVID to you know, to shelve all of our protests and shit. But like, we were really, really close. The only place that wasn't really speaking out was the United States. But we were really, it was the Trump thing. We were just so distracted by Trump. I don't think any other places have that kind of distraction. They have their goofy characters who pretend like they dress up like Captain Crunch and put on all their goofy medals and shit. I don't know. I mean, I see other places in the world and I think about how much easier it would be to control those places. How much more seemingly ignorant other populations are that have been hindered and so much more openly abused than we have. But man, what do they're trying to make like I just find it strange that every single truther that I find is not only a Christian and pushing the Jesus narrative and whatnot, but they're doing it a lot more lately, huh?
The clowns.
Well, I mean, to me, they're when I look at I have three viewers and 4 likes. When I look at the thumbnail, which is just a random video that I had done that got 10,000 likes and 17 new subscribers or whatever it was, and I look at what's been done to me. I mean, my numbers were better than a lot of people's numbers. When I have 1,500 subscribers, but I'm getting 10,000 views, there's something else going on there. There's something else appealing to people that isn't happening for a lot of other people. And to then be stifled so much while I'm watching these other people say, like, on paper, they're better at this shit than I am. I can't list off all the names, all the names, all the companies, and all the CEOs and all this other shit. Like, there's a lot of people that can really name off a lot more shit than I can, and they clearly follow the news cycle a lot more closely than I do. Because I barely follow it at all. But there's always that one difference. I mean, the Bella person, that Bella chick, she consistently will correct herself and be like the J blah blah blah. Sorry, the J cult is a beautiful one. It's a beautiful religion. It's the Zionists. It's the Zionists. I keep hearing this narrative where people are like
Make, making a distinction.
not just that. It's like they want to be
PC.
right so bad, but because they've been so PC programmed and all, they're still just being manipulated. Like it's like, okay, so I hear what you're saying, right? Like, okay, cool. You're saying it's a beautiful religion, and and they're not all of them are bad. Not all of them are bad. Not all of them contribute to the genocide or support the genocide, but really very, very much most of them do. Unless they're saying Israel has no business existing because, according to the religious narrative, Israel isn't supposed to exist until after the Messiah returns and the Messiah shows up. He hasn't, not even returning as far as their shit goes. He has to show up first. Then Israel can be built and the next temple and all that shit. That's the way it's supposed to go. So for any friar whatsoever to support Israel's existence means they're not the good guys that you probably say they are. Because, it just shouldn't exist. It's literally they took the land from people who already live there and have consistently slow killed them for decades. Like it's unbelievably rotten behavior. Just spread some more information, misinformation. If you want to point out anything that I'm getting wrong, we'd love to hear what your fat, dumb pedo ass has to say. By all means, please point to one single thing I'm getting wrong, fat girl. Come on, let's hear what you have to say.
Took offense to that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
My name.
She's an actual fat woman who's a pedo, so she's a disgusting pig. But again, please, by all means, tell me what I'm getting wrong. Tell me which part I'm screwing up. Tell me where the misinformation is coming from. What element is fake? Are we denying genocide? What are we denying today? Notice, people, anybody that is in the comments, anybody that's watching, and if you are watching, like, share, and sub. It helps. But notice how this coward won't actually elaborate. They just it. You have to wonder who's motivated to come here, hear what's being said, and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna complain," and then run away. If I was actually wrong, don't you think, since they're clearly here to be a negative, don't you think they jump all over it and elaborate and do what they need to do? But this is the weird opposition you get when you're telling the truth. This is the weird, this is the stuff that these other guys don't seem to get. Anybody that pushes Jesus at the end of the day seems to be sort of hands off. And really, I don't see this shit anywhere. I might see some sort of, some people might say one thing or another. Or you'll actually get friars, obvious friar pages that will go onto their page and sort of talk smack. Again, they'll never come here and say anything. But you very rarely hear about anybody bringing up Matitza Bupe. And you've never heard anyone else talk about the Bottom of Darkness article and the ritual essay that is consistently done forever. And see, this is where, like, even my wife will sort of have an issue with it. A lot of you will have an issue with it. Is that because it's so horrendous and awful, you you just won't let yourself think it's as bad as you can imagine, right? In your head, you tell yourself, well, it's so bad that it can't be a vast majority of the population that contributes and at the very least knows about it and says nothing. But I have to ask you why, right? Why would you know why do you think I'm wrong? Based on what? What research have you done to balance out to balance what you're saying and to contradict what I'm saying?
Because otherwise it's too horrific.
Exactly. That's the point. Otherwise it's too horrific, but outside of that, you really have no reason to think I'm wrong. And the truth is, I make a lot more sense than anything else does. At the end of the day, you might not want it to be that way, but who else do you know that's explaining the true nature as to why an entire population can not just be okay with it, but benefit from it, openly benefit from genocide, openly benefit from slaughter, openly benefit, or at least openly participate and condone ritualistic SA that is literally everywhere. When I tell you that this is the story, I mean, again, it must be some weird defense mechanism, that rooted in arrogance that makes you go, oh, well, he must not be telling the truth, or he must be exaggerating. Did you read the Israel Hayom article, Bottom of Darkness? Did you look into Israel Hayom just to make sure that you weren't, just reading some crazy shit? When you looked into Israel Hayom and you found out it was Sheldon Adelson, did you then do a deep dive on Sheldon Adelson just to make sure that because this is his thing that I mean, how far did you go with your investigation? Because I know where I took mine. And I know, to me, there's a real, like, there's this weird, like, threshold where it's like, when it's the shiny happy narrative or the historic narrative, the patriotic narrative or whatever it is, and it's a good and it presents, at least it's supposed to present in a good light, well then you know that it's bullshit. Like it has the potential to have all sorts of bullshit in it, and it's it's the winner's version of the history. But when the narrative is a negative one, and it's not just like, it's not even an outside source, it's not a goyim source telling you the negative, it's them telling you the negative. There's a deeper element of truth to that, because why else would they be saying it? Why would they be making up a false narrative about themselves that makes themselves look like horrendous monsters? Other than it being so true that it couldn't be ignored, or that somebody, whatever it may be, whatever the reason is, it had to be exposed. But what would be the, like, where would the benefit be to making that narrative up? If anything, they're going to do everything they can to not let that narrative get out, which is why you didn't see that story get picked up by any major news outlets or anything like that. But you have to understand, like, there's no benefit to them making up some story like this about themselves. There's all sorts of benefit to them making up a hollow story about themselves, where they're just the victims and they're the noble and they're the proud and they wore their badges and they would rather commit 936 of them commit suicide rather than to be taken by the, like, those bullshit narratives where somebody's lying to make something sound better. Somebody's not lying to make themselves sound worse.
That doesn't happen.
If the narrative makes them sound terrible, that's the very best spin they could put on it. They're not even telling you the whole truth that really, really makes them look terrible. You're getting the most watered down, this is the very least amount of information I have to put out version of that story. And Bottom of Darkness is that piece of the puzzle that puts it all together. And you know what? You might not even realize it the first time. Or maybe you will, because at least you had a guide to it. I didn't have a guide. I had to figure it out. Nobody told me to go look up Bottom of Darkness. I stumbled across that shit on my own. Completely accidentally. I don't even remember how I came across it. It wasn't something that was being talked about. It must have been one of those random days where I put Israel into the Google machine and then clicked news and read what popped up. It was April of 2025 when this story popped up. And of course, you're only going to find Israel Hayom talking about it. I know for a fact that if I was to present to, say, the Supreme Court or whoever it is to decide whether we should investigate into something, or to decide whether whether or not there's some sort of conspiracy that needs to be overthrown and at the very least investigated, I know I could do it. I know based on the receipts that I have in the description of this video, if I present that presentation to anyone and they're open and they're willing to hear what's being said and even, fact check what I'm saying, they'll see that I'm right. I'm right at a frightening level. You know, unlike so many other people that tell you, oh, they're doing this or the Zionists are that or whatever. They don't even know what they're really talking about. They know a basic watered down version of it. They'll talk to you about, oh, this goes back to uh, the Balfour Declaration or some shit like that. And it's like, why do all of you say the same thing? If you're not all getting your $8,000 a month from Israel, your 30 pieces of silver, then or 7,000, whichever number it is, then why do you all say the same shit? Nick Fuentes is one of those guys. He's very informative, but I just don't like him. And the more I find out about who he is outside of he talks bad about Israel, the more distant I find myself from him because he's just an awful type of a person. He's fake. His name is Fuentes, and he's against people of color. He's like a white nationalist. God-seeking atheist. That's an interesting name. I mean, it's like the guy earlier, right? When I asked him, come on, dude, what is your reasoning for being a Christian? At the end of the day, what was that piece of evidence you were shown as to why you're a Christian? His response was, because Jesus died for my sins. And it's so disgusting, and it's just like, dude, well, first of all, you weren't even close to being alive. But the whole thing with the sins is like you're a baby, right? So what were you like shooting dope and
No, you're born with sin.
Right, shooting dope and fucking prostitutes in the mother's womb and shit? Because if they don't like you, because if they don't like you, do for them, and then nobody gets to see any pieces of truth. If they don't like you, do, then it's game over for them, and then nobody gets to see any pieces. Not sure what it meant by that first part, but I think I kind of get it. What were you saying? Sorry.
I'm not being a
I know. I can tell the difference between your I don't remembers when you're being a jerk and when you're not. This is such a. It's just a weird feeling, man. I mean, I can show you so many pictures of like my thumbnail where it's the stats showing you numbers that you look at the feed now and you'd be like, dude, you have 4 viewers and 4 likes. Like you wouldn't think that those screenshots are from 6 months ago. So what would have happened? What do you think I did in 6 months to make everybody just suddenly decide not to like me?
You got in a big police chase down the California highway?
That would make everybody like me more. Literally, there's not too many things that you could even present that would explain why somebody who's consistently getting good numbers would suddenly, like, literally not even, I mean, it was sort of gradual and like it was getting throttled a little bit before Charlie Kirk's assassination, but we were still allowed to be in the couple of thousands, to suddenly, lucky to get past 200 one day. Like, it's literally one fucking day. That's that's not something that just happens. And it's one of these things too where it's just like, listen, I am so open to any reasonable explanation or any similar story that you can tell me of somebody else that you can say, yep, they were getting crazy numbers, especially since they only had 1,500 subscribers and yada, yada, yada. And then suddenly, just boom, the day after Charlie Kirk got killed, it was noticeably different and hasn't changed since. Satellites aren't good either. These satellites are the worst. Satellites? What? Why would what? Gives a shit about satellites? Who even thinks they're real? The satellites have to be a technology that we don't understand. We don't know. Like, how are these satellites floating? Oh, great. The bomb has come across my feed again. How's life being broke as fuck and not working a day in your life? Must be hard being on the spectrum. I mean, just think about the type
Wow,
of
you're trying to
chosen.
insult people for having autism.
Right. Just or either you're trying to insult someone for having autism, or you're using autism as an insult.
Yeah,
Either way,
it's both the same.
you're a piece of shit. Like this is the type of person that thinks, and of course, his only tactic is to insinuate some sort of mental deficiency.
You got a participation trophy, didn't you? Your mom complained because you weren't winning awards, so your coach gave out participation
He
trophies
didn't
to
know.
everyone.
No. His mom told him, "Oh, you're the most handsome boy in the world, and they pick on you because they're jealous." I mean, it's like, again, to think that this is literally something that they've been programmed with from the beginning. And actually, I was gonna go live a little bit earlier because I really did want to talk about. I think the Secure Community Network is a really important piece in this puzzle. You're on here every day hoping this bullshit takes off. You, sir, are the piece of shit. Newsflash, this shit ain't taking off. Better put some apps in. Ha. Oh, okay. Yep, yep. This shit ain't taking off. You're right, it's been censored. Great, good thing you're pointing it out. Because you even, again, all you have to do is look at the thumbnail. And that shows you something else is going on. But understand that, like, ask this dumbass, what are you so mad about? What has you so upset right now? How did I hurt you?
Somebody peed in his Cheerios.
It was me. I pee-peed in his Cheerios. I just want to know when.
Why?
When did that
Why
happen?
would you do that? Why would you pee in somebody's Cheerios?
Crying in a baby voice makes you look even more soft than you already are. Laughing face again. This guy puts the same laughing face over and over again. They don't want the truth. No. No. They can't handle the truth.
Oh,
Again, like, seriously, I give the guy the platform. I give the guy the spotlight. Go on and tell everybody what has you so mad about what I'm saying. Is it the we should kill pedos part? Or is it the we should stop the genocide part? Is it the there's no Jesus part? Is it the Friar takeover whole thing?
I
Which
think I
part
just
has you
heard
so
somebody's
upset?
brain explode. You need to slow down.
Which part is it? Losers like yourself just trying to get free money. Yes. You guys heard me talk about give me money like a lot, right? How many times do you think I said it so far? You
Free
guys should
money?
play a drinking game. Just to take a drink every time I ask for money.
What is,
Because, boy, you will be sloshed by the end of this video. I'm always asking for money.
what is free money? I want some of that.
I do really do want some free money. If anybody wants to send me free money, please feel free.
How do you get free money?
So there you go, take a drink. These people who wear pajamas to job interviews, don't pay them no mind, bro. They don't go to job interviews. These are, see, what most people don't understand, and again, it comes down to
That was funny though.
your grasp of reality, right? So when I tell you that a lot, if not the vast majority of these fake profiles that come here and talk their shit, right? Joined 14 years ago, has 2 subscribers. 12, 13, 14 years ago, 2, 3 subscribers. They always have the same shit. Or it's like a couple of weeks ago. But these are Team Jorge and act.il type of accounts. These are bots. These are either bots or they're Israelis who are playing the troll game to get the biggest prizes, to get the most points. And it's just like the pedophile situation where I'm telling you that up and down your street, there are pedophiles. There are people who are exchanging in child exploitation materials. There are people that are talking to children on different apps and Roblox and all that kind of shit. Those people are your neighbors. You have family members. You have friends that are doing this shit. And I know most of you are going to say, no, that's not true. Just think about how many pedophile hunters you can think of on your own, just on YouTube, just on Facebook. And think about all of those guys are catching at least one person a day for the most part. Guys like Chris Hansen will go into a community for the weekend and work with the sheriff's department, and they'll catch 15, 16, 20 guys over a weekend. Not all of these guys are like, hunchbacks who live in the fucking shadows and, you know, these are your construction men, your teachers, your pastors, these people are everywhere. There is no demographic. There is, however, you see, the Chosen used to get caught. I was thinking about that today. So you know the Chosen. If you look at old TCAPs and stuff like that, you'll see that the Chosen are caught at a disproportionately high amount. When you have 2% of the population being caught like 50, 60% of the time, that's fucking insane, right? Even if they're caught 20% of the time, it's still, 2% shouldn't get caught, let alone get caught multiple times. Nowadays, the reason you don't see it is because of the secure community network. The security community network connects 90% of friars. So when Chris Hansen is in the neighborhood, the message goes out. Chris Hansen is in the neighborhood. Just a heads up. That's why you don't see them getting caught anymore, because the secure community network is about as diabolical as it gets. Let's see. It's really fucking strange to see the depth of things. Like, I don't think people step back and think about it. You know, if you're seeing these guys catch multiple people a day, I saw one thing where the guys from DAP say he doesn't even plan it. He just rolls into a town and he'll catch 8 guys over 2 days.
So disgusting.
Right? He just sets up the account and he just bing bing. They just hit him up and it just rolls. Like he's just catching them quicker than he can actually do anything about it. But the thing that most people aren't understanding is it's a very, very small percentage of the people that actually have the compulsion enough to cross that line. To say, you know what, I'm going to risk doing this, knowing it could be a sting, knowing it could be a setup. I'm still going to go do this. Very, very few of them actually have it that bad. Most of them can satisfy their urges through videos, through photographs and shit, through talking. But if those guys, I wish they would show just how many times each of their profiles get hit up. Because it's in the hundreds, if not thousands, depending on how long that profile's been active. And that's what I'm saying. For the amount of people that are hitting up every single one of these predator hunter profiles out there, the hundreds, if not thousands, that hit up every single profile that gets created, who do you think that is? That's the guy at the store. That's that weird neighbor that you kind of get a little bit of a chill about, but you don't think too much of. Oh, he's got kids and shit.
He's your neighbor.
Yeah, and maybe he's got kids. Maybe he's helped you out or this and that and the other. Maybe you don't expect it at all, but he still has those fucking pictures in his phone. It wouldn't be one of the number one fucking industries on the dark web if it wasn't way, way more people than you in your arrogant little fucking mind think is possible. Because at the end of the day, that's what this comes down to. You're going to sit here and argue with me based on nothing. You have done nothing. You have done no research. You have barely even begun to scratch the surface, and you're going to sit here and arrogantly pretend like you know more than I do.
Shit reminds me of that Criminal Minds episode. Remember where the black and white middle-aged, blue collar or white collar move into the nice neighborhood and their friends, they both have teenage daughters. They start exchanging. They realize they're both pedophiles and they're like young girls.
Oh yeah, and then they killed it. Yeah, and they has the one daughter gets taken. Yeah.
Yeah, like you would never know.
You never know those guys.
Family barbecue or a neighborhood barbecue, and happened to both notice they were both checking out the same young girl.
Yep.
And that's it. They were normal people. Damn it! I knew I lost.
That shit's everywhere. Let's see.
Find my belly ring.
Yeah. I see. Look at you guys, just dumb. People want to talk about themselves so much. So strange how people are like that. Let's talk about me like I'm important. Let's not talk about this much bigger picture thing that's not only controlling our lives but keeping us in a state of servitude and lesser than we should and could be. This is the like people always talk about how life sucks and this world is fucked and this world is so bad and this world is a beautiful, amazing place, and life is so incredible. It's so incredible you only get one. That's how incredible it is. To look at it from a negative standpoint, wow, I got stuck into the cavity. Surprised you didn't lose it. To not be I don't want to say grateful because that implies that somebody gave it to you. But to not just be like, this is your shit, man. This is what you get. Gotta make the best of it. If there's such a thing as reincarnation, guess what? You have no idea. You won't know. You have no idea. For all you know, you could have been reincarnated a zillion times by now. Who knows? Maybe we're just like VHS tapes. And it's actually an old technology that's probably, only in use because it's what it is.
Well, some of us are
But
VHS. Some of us are DVD.
maybe that could be it
Some
too.
of us are Blu-ray. We're at different stages.
But
Some of us have so many lives left.
the VHS tapes are they just erase and re-record over each one each time somebody new comes in, and maybe not everything gets erased off the tape, and that's why some people remember some shit. I am James Goff, as my baby looked at me one day and said. He was in the teen months old and didn't even speak very well, but suddenly looked at me and in a clear as day voice said, I am James Goff. And then snapped out of it and went back to doing his thing. And when I would talk about it with him, he would get kind of shy about it. Like he knew something else was going on. And I'd ask him, who is James Goff? And he'd say baby, because he called himself baby back then. So who knows what the fuck that was about. But I don't go with the whole Jesus, God, heaven and hell kind of crazy bullshit. See ya. I don't know about you guys, but I'm scared. I'm scared of what the actual future is going to be for us. Because I don't think this, where we live, what we live in, is going to be just the way it works forever. It doesn't seem like it's headed in that direction. And those who are the manipulators are not stupid. I mean, I know I call them stupid all the time, and I do think they're stupid because of some of the things they say, but when we I'm sorry, I was looking at this shit. Don't be scared. It's coming, and we must prepare. See, that's the wrong attitude. There's nothing we can do. If it gets to the point where they're rounding us up, if it gets to the point where the robot dogs are coming down the streets, and if we let it get to that point, we're fucked. We can't beat that system once they implement the control. We need to fix this before we get there, which is why women are such an important piece of this puzzle. Because women are they're the key. It's the mothers, it's the daughters, it's the wives, it's the sisters, it's the girlfriends, it's whatever, that need to convince the men, especially those in the police and military positions, that they are there to protect us, not to be used against us. Because if your military husband, boyfriend, son, brother, whatever it is sent across the country to go round up American families, somebody that looks just like him in the same outfit from that side of the country is going to be over there rounding up his family. If we let it happen, they're going to use us against ourselves. The scoopers are on the way. Hope not. I hope we can unify before the train doors close. But this is where the fear kicks in for me. Because I just, the way they have us so divided and under control is just terrifying. I mean, again, if you're the bad guys, like I said, I call them stupid, but they know that they have to give us the controlled opposition so that like, if they didn't provide us with the Ian Carrolls and the Stu Peters and the Nick Fuenteses and the controlled opposition that they do, then one of us, someone like me, would actually organically rise up. And the last thing they want is somebody like me organically rising up because there's no control. I don't offer them a way to control. I don't believe in the historical bullshit they tell us. I don't believe in the religious bullshit they tell us. I don't believe in the racial bullshit they tell us. And it's all bullshit. And so none of that stuff can be used against me. And that's what's so scary to them. They can't have atheists leading the way. They have to have people that will believe in a deity that they can project into the sky, and everyone, oh, it's Jesus. Oh, I can hear him. I can feel him. Project Bluebeam. It's old school shit. And it's not at all like, I mean, it's as much of a theory as like if you go look into it and they talk about theory aspect of it, it'll be like if you look up chemtrails and how Wikipedia says that chemtrails are the erroneous conspiracy theory that says contrails that last for a long time as opposed to those that dissipate quickly have a nefarious purpose. First sentence, second sentence is, those who believe in this say that contrails that come out of planes normally dissipate quickly, but those that don't must have something in them to, affect people and blah, 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 and list off some other thing. The third sentence says people say that stratospheric aerosol injection, cloud seeding, and other things are examples of of chemtrails, and it's like, and then you click on stratospheric aerosol injection, and it's like, yeah, that's chemtrails. And then you click on cloud seeding, and they literally show you pictures of airplanes dropping shit out of the plane into the clouds to either make it rain or prevent it from raining or something along those lines. But it's like, that's a theory, right? That's a conspiracy theory. And for you to think that it's just some sort of weird, crazy theory for them to drop something out of a plane, obviously you haven't been paying attention. They've been able to drop shit out of planes since they could fly planes. Speaking of flying planes, something I just think is silly when I think about it is the narrative of the old school World War I dogfights. They're flying around in planes, shooting at each other, and like, you know how stupid that is? It's just silly. These narratives they give us are just silly. And it really does come down to, like, your ability to rationalize and think about things from a non-arrogant point of view. where you don't think that, like, oh, well, if there was this kind of conspiracy or that kind of conspiracy, well, then I would know about it because somebody would have said something. And if somebody had said something, then I would have heard about it. You know that most of the things that I talk about, somebody in some sort of really high position has come out and said all of these things. You just didn't hear about it because you were prevented from hearing about it. It wasn't broadcast all over the media. You have guys like former FBI chief Ted Gunderson literally laying out the whole Franklin cover-up, which is Pizzagate before Pizzagate, stretching all the way up to the White House and George Bush and Dan Quayle, I believe, wasn't that his vice? I don't even remember who his vice president was. This guy was a former FBI chief, and he came out and said all this shit. How much more credibility do you need than a former FBI chief? Do you know him? Do you know of him? And if you do know of him, are you just what? Do you think like that narrative was just exposed by him? And because it was exposed, they were like, oh shit, well, we better not do that again. It got all the way up to Bush, and then it just disappeared. Everybody just stopped talking about it. Once the story got super juicy, everybody just stopped talking about it. I mean, it's like the whole Israel thing. The whole Israel thing is the most juicy, obvious conspiracy theory, or not conspiracy, but conspiracy, involving the government, involving the lies, the Epsteins, all that. And yet none of the major credible news organizations are even they're interested in that story. Actually, if you talk about that and you suggest that, then you're part of the problem? Really? What sort of news organization thinks that way? If you have countless people saying the same thing, how is that some sort of, everybody just has this delusion? Where did everybody get this delusion from? The narrative is controlled by the system to begin with. It's not like people are basing their thoughts on some outlandish conspiracy theory like a Jesus or something. Everybody is basing their thoughts off of what they've been shown. And even though they're told, hey, look at all these Israelis killing these Palestinians, these Israelis are victims, most people go, yeah, we see the Israelis killing the Palestinians, which means they're not the victims. And that's the problem, is it gets lost in translation because they're going, no, just because we're killing at an alarming rate and starving people and using banned weapons like white phosphorus and putting out fake fucking false flag attacks like October 7th and all this bullshit, we're still the victims here. And people are just like, no.
Holocaust.
Yeah, the Holocaust.
That's it.
Yeah, this is kind of a Holocaust. This is a genocide. No, you can't say that. No. We're the only ones allowed to say that.
Nobody compares to us.
This isn't a Holocaust because it's not enough people. I had somebody tell me that the other day. The reason that what's happening isn't a Holocaust isn't a genocide is because it's not enough people yet.
What's that magic number?
He didn't have one. He didn't have one. Go figure.
I don't know, but I know it's not this.
Right.
Okay.
It's just shocking, man. It's shocking at this point. And it's the thing holding their illusion together at this point is Christianity. And Christianity and Americanism is sort of, hand in hand. They're sort of intertwined. But it's that patriotic bullshit, you know, my parents had sex here. Those kids, their parents had sex at a different place, so they don't deserve the same rights I do. I don't care if they're children. Their parents should have had sex somewhere else. Their grandparents should have had sex somewhere else. I I am entitled and I deserve things because my grandparents had sex here. Dirty, nasty sex here. And my grandmother, who usually would swallow the load, decided she didn't want to this time, and so she got pregnant with my dad. I deserve more rights than you do. You realize, like, that's a lot of your grandmothers. They weren't fucking, they weren't making out on Makeout Hill in those giant queen size beds on wheels in, all those decades, listening to Blue Moon. She's a sweet 16. Gross.
Rose.
Young girl, you. What is it? Young girl, my love for you is way out of line.
Yeah. Gross.
Shit was crazy, man. The shit they used to do. The way that they normalize it all. And the reality is, I don't know a fucking person. I've never asked anyone, even people I suspect to be pedos. I've never asked anyone, hey, what do you think we should do with pedos? And they were like, well, really, they're probably scared a lot the first time they get caught. So maybe just give them like a slap on the wrist and make them promise not to do it again. Nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever said, well, you know what, we should keep them in jail for a couple of years and put them through some rehabilitation programs and get them some prayers and all that, and then release them so they can live next door to me in my neighborhood next to my kids. Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says, well, you know what, we should just put them in prison forever so that they get 3 hots and a cot off of our fucking...
And have access to internet.
Right, off of our dime, and they live in a protected ward of the prison where they get fucking Super Nintendos and shit. Nope, nobody says that. You know what every single person says every time you bring up pedos? We should kill them.
They should die.
Wood chipper, let's kill them. So why doesn't our society reflect that? Why do laws have to be changed in the first place? Why do why are places like California have the lowest statute of limitations when it comes to any sort of cases like that, where it just happens to be the friars control the entire scene there and are constantly caught raping people? Why do so many of our government employees get wrapped up in that shit? You know what's never happened to me? I've been caught up in a lot of shit in my life. I have a DUI. I got busted, with a pipe and shit and paraphernalia and BB guns. And, I've been busted at parties and I've done some crazy shit.
All the domestic abuse that the cops keep coming trying to catch you in, but they haven't been able to catch you yet.
Well, yeah, that hasn't happened in a while, but it's happened many times because of this kind of bullshit, but never anything in reality. And I know that, let's just say I became famous. There might be some pretty wicked stories about me. There might be some girls who claim a kid that doesn't fit a timeline as my kid or something like that. There might be girls that claim I wasn't the best to them when I just, I used them and didn't call them back or some shit. There might be stories like that. But there definitely won't be any I was 14 and I was an adult and
Gross. No. There better not be.
there just won't be. Like, I would have no concerns about that. There won't be any guy rape stories. These type of things don't just happen to everybody. Like with Trump. Trump's the only president that's ever been accused of these kinds of things and been found guilty and convicted and all this other shit. But it's not like, oh, he's just a powerful man and this is just how it works with powerful men. Obama didn't have any rape charges. Bush didn't have any rape charges. I'm going to skip over Clinton. But, like, this isn't just something that happens to everybody in power. This isn't just a common thing that happens to males or even males who, were sexual or males who did well. This is something that happens to a very specific group of people. And it's so funny how the people that get accused of this shit are often accused multiple times. Nobody's getting falsely accused of rape or fuckery with a child multiple times. I don't even talk to people online. I don't even do chat rooms and shit like that. But if you're my age and and you're even trying to talk to somebody that's, well, she's 16, so she's legal. She's 18, so she's legal. If you're my age and you're trying to talk to somebody with a teen in their name, you're fucking weird, man. What could you possibly relate to? Even a 19-year-old girl. What could you relate to a 19-year-old girl? Chances are at 19, her body's not even fully developed yet. But, like, seriously, where's the where's the attraction? Granted, again, there are plenty of chicks that are hot, sure. I don't know. The older I get, the younger they look, so it's even harder for me. I'm much more attracted to a hot 30-year-old than anything else. Chick in her 30s. Like, this is all just like, this all seems like just comment shit to me. Did the comment section get shut off again? Is that why we haven't had a comment in a while? The scoopers are on their way. That's the last comment I've received. So I'm assuming that the comment section got shut off again. The ponytail. So I'm just gonna go because I've said more than enough. And then you have the comment section getting shut off, which is it's the icing on the cake. It's the part that's beyond my control that shows you that something else is going on here. That they're preventing our communication. Show me the other fucking YouTuber that talks about, oh shit, they cut the comments off again. Show them. Show me. More likes than viewers, as always. Anyway, have yourselves a great night. Be safe Friday night. Hopefully you're here tomorrow. Go check out the description and all the receipts in the description. Get your free download www.the-bilderberg bilderberg-group.com. Seriously, go get it. It's free. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. Click zero, or you can donate. That'd be great if you did that, but you definitely don't have to. All we ask is that you share it with someone. We should be getting more downloads. If all of you guys are truly supporting and listening and all that, we should be getting more. We can see it. Understand that we can see the traffic. And we are getting it, but it should be more. Where is the support? Go check out Hollywoodism, the most important film ever made. Hollywoodism explains why you believe what you believe. Why you think there was a George Washington. Why you think there was a Ben Franklin. Why you think that American history, 1776, and all that other bullshit. It explains why that narrative is in place. The Israel Hayom article, Bottom of Darkness, explains how and why those people have the ability to do what they do without a care in the world, because they've been so viciously abused and then forced to do that to somebody else, just breaking their psyche. And either they do it or they know about it, but they stay quiet. And then there's a whole bunch of other shit like the Havara Agreement, which was signed in 1933 and allowed 60,000 German friars to immigrate to start colonizing Palestine from 33 to 39. 60,000 signed between the Jewish federations and the Nazis. Sort of changes your viewpoint on the whole war and the Holocaust and all that. If the Nazis are actually signing, agreements to allow them to move elsewhere and take all their money and possessions with them. Doesn't sound like they were very oppressed. 60,000 of them left Germany. That sounds pretty significant. How many could be left over if 60,000 left? And then that sort of kills your 6 million narrative, especially when there was only 3 million in Europe at the time. But hey, what do I know, right? Go check out Team Jorge. Go check out act.il. Go check out all of the links in the description. They are the evidence. I'm providing you with the evidence to validate this presentation, along with the feed that you're seeing where they shut the comments off, where you're seeing something that you've never seen outside of my feed, yet it happens on my feed all the time, where there's an entirely different level of censorship than any other truther gets. And you can say it's because there are significant differences between me and those other truthers. There's not a lot of significant difference between all of those other truthers. They all say the same things about Israel, and they all push the same Jesus God narrative. There's a big difference here. And they all push the Zionist narrative, the bad guy, boogeyman Zionist narrative. There's some significant differences here. And go figure, I'm the one that gets censored, not them. Have yourself a wonderful night. And you pedophiles, you kill yourself.